Colt McCoy got all set up and he's ready to go. And, of course, I don't need to tell Colt about the microphone or the headset or anything like that. We're talking about an experienced broadcast professional from this past offseason, yes? How did that go for you?
I'm not on you guys' level yet, that's for sure.
Did you enjoy that, though?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's a pretty good perspective up here.
Yeah, it's not too bad, right? It's a good sight lines, good views.
How many games did you call?
I called 2 games, 2 USFL games.
Did you love it?
I liked it a lot more than what I thought I would.
Okay, now when this is over, when eventually you decide to retire and let your family finally get a dog, when that
exactly
right, is that right?
That's the deal. Yeah,
they cannot have a dog until you retire.
That's
is
right.
that the deal?
Or until they can start making their beds. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that's fair too.
Whichever comes first. Yeah.
Is that a future for you? Do you think you can find yourself in the booth somewhere calling games, staying in the game somehow?
I think it would be great. You know, I don't know if I'm good enough. I need to practice. But what I did enjoy was you're talking about the whole football game, not just in like the offensive bubble that we live in each week, right? You play a series, you come off the sidelines, you're looking at adjustments, what were they playing? You know, you lose sight of the whole rest of the game, and you narrow it down to, you know, your 7 or 8 or 9 drives you get. So calling from the booth, it was really fun to talk about situations and what's the defense thinking right now, right? I know what the offense is thinking. And so I enjoyed that part of it. The only difference is you get done with the game and you're like, I don't have any feeling one way or the other. Like, this team won, this team lost.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm very indifferent
it was
to what I just
weird,
watched.
Right?
Like,
yeah. You're normally walking off the field with some version of emotion, right?
Yeah.
And
that
one, I was kind of like, hey, good game.
You don't even have to take a shower.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
You didn't even have to do that. Just get to go home.
That's right. That's right.
Camp is, I guess, technically over. You guys wrapped up your last practice today. The schedule with you in terms of the work that you've done, have you appreciated and enjoyed how they've been kind of managing you, or have you found yourself wanting to do a little bit more early in the process?
Yeah. It's been a really good schedule. I think the guys have really adjusted well to it, and there's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of time on task outside of the actual reps that you get, you know, live on the field. You know, and as you're learning a new offense, as you're learning a new defense, as you're building your team, like the reps that you get out there are so valuable, right, for everybody. For me, as I'm, you know, trying to learn the details of our offense and who we're going to be and what we're good at, like each rep that we get out here on these high days really counts. But I think it's been really good, and I'm excited to see kind of where we are on Friday.
14 years in the league now, 8th different head coach. What's the difference between a rookie head coach coming in with a new staff and a veteran coach that's been in the league for a number of years?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I did not realize that I had 8 head coaches.
You've had 8.
Seen a bunch. I'll say that Coach Ganning and the staff that he's put together on both sides of the ball have been fantastic, right? Anytime I go to Drew, he always has an answer. Boom, right? He knows what he wants this to look like. We're still getting there. We're still putting the pieces together and, you know, not making the same mistake after a mistake, right? You're seeing the things for the second, third time now, and, you know, we're moving in the right direction. And they bring a lot of energy. It's fun. Like, meetings are fun, and you know, the expectations are, you know, they're not a secret. Everybody knows your job and what's required, and here's how this operation is going to work with, you know, a little bit lower tempo days and high tempo days, and it's been good so far.
The last time you started a season opener, or first game of the season, you got to go back to 2011.
And that was coming off the lockout.
That was coming off the lockout. All right.
Been through 3 CBAs.
That's right. You have. You've been in this league for a long time. 14 years, 3 CBAs coming off of a lockout. You started in 2011.
He knew how many CBAs. He wasn't sure about how many coaches, but the CBA thing he had down.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you what it was like to play against Mean Joe Green and Terry Bradshaw.
Come on, Gambo.
What it was like to go up against. But a chance to maybe start this season if you're healthy. First of all, let's talk about that. How close are you to being healthy after the injuries last year? You had the concussion, and you know, obviously you missed some time. How close are you to being back to 100%?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. We're really gearing towards that. Like, I've done a good job with Drew and the new training staff. They've been fantastic, taking care of my arm and getting me the reps that I need, and fighting through some things, and I feel really good. I feel like we're right where we need to be.
So you're right. So if you can get the starting job, you'll be ready to start for week 1.
Yeah, sure.
Now, how about trying to hold up some of this competition? I mean, Driscoll's been in the league for a while. This kid Clayton Tune comes in. He's a little bit arrogant and cocky, but he's got a lot of talent and skill. I mean, for you, I know you're trying to help the young kids because that's just who you are, but you're also trying to make sure that you get that job for week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clayton has come in and done a fantastic job. Jeff has done a great job. He's big, he's athletic, he's strong. He brings a lot to the table as far as his athletic ability. He's played in a bunch of offenses. He's having a good camp. Blau played a couple games here last year. He's really smart. I think the thing for us is we're all learning the system at the same time, right? Clayton kind of came into a good situation where there's lots of questions being asked. There's lots of coaching going on. No one's ahead of anybody else in terms of we've all played in the system before. So, I think everyone has had a really nice camp so far, and we're each, figuring things out as we go, and we're all in it together. And Coach Gannon preaches all the time. It's team above you, and that goes for our room. That goes for the tight ends room. That goes for us as an offense. That goes for so. It's been a fun camp so far. I've been in several, and I've really enjoyed the process of building this team.
Colt McCoy, our guest here on the Burns and Gambo shows. We're live from Cardinals Training Camp. As a point of clarification, are you playing Friday? Have you been told you're going to play Friday?
Yeah, I think we'll play. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the starters will play.
The starters will play for a little bit, so you'll be out there for the traditional amount that a starter would play?
I don't know. I mean,
you're expecting to play.
I'm expecting that. Everything's geared towards that. I think we're expecting that. That could change, but okay. I think that's what we're doing.
I read a quote from you a few weeks ago about this offense and kind of the changes from last year's offense and Cliff's offense, and I believe, if I remember right, you said something along the lines of, "This is basically the offense now that we're in that I've played in for most of my NFL career." Mm-hmm. Is there a comfort that comes with an offense that's a little more what you're accustomed to, and maybe a little more, for lack of a better word, kind of a standard NFL offense as opposed to what you guys have been doing?
Yeah, well, listen, I loved the offense that we were in last year and the last couple of years with Cliff. I mean, we were explosive. We threw the ball around. It's hard for a quarterback not to like that. We're so banged up. Last year was unlike anything I've ever seen. But this offense that I'm in right now and that Drew's brought to us, I've had very similar offenses in the past, right? And there's some things in there that I kind of picked up really quick because I recognized it and had some reps on it and some experience with it. And there's some things that are new. And Drew has done a really nice job of coaching us up and letting us know exactly how he sees it, how he wants it run. And that's my job, to go out there and be efficient and get us in the right plays and play good football. And if I do that, I think we have a chance.
So you've been in the league a long time. I'm going to ask you, so I really hope I can get a good opinion here. Kyler's been in the league for a number of years. He's had some struggles. He's had some success. He is going to miss a part of the season probably this year, coming off an injury. And next year, you've got a couple of really good quarterbacks that may go 1 and 2. There's a lot of talk about, if the Cardinals would move on from Kyler like they did from Josh Rosen and draft one of these kids. If you're Kyler and you're a young guy, how do you view that? How do you use that as motivation? Do you try to block it out altogether and not think about it? What does a player like that go through when all the talk around the league is that the Cardinals may have the top pick and draft a quarterback?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, first of all, as a quarterback, you ignore the noise, right? Kyler is so intent on his rehab and focused on that and getting himself ready to get back as soon as possible. I know that, I see it every day. And there's only 32 spots in this league, and you never take it for granted. I've played a long time. I've been the starter. I've been the backup. It's a privilege to go out there and be one of the 32, and that's your focus. You're not worried about anything else outside of that. And I'm speaking for myself, but I know that's the case for Kyler as well. Look, Kyler's had so much success here. He's made a couple Pro Bowls. He was Rookie of the Year. I mean, you can go down the list of accomplishments of what he's done. He's in the meetings every day. I know he wants to be out here as soon as he physically possibly can, which I think it'll be sooner than later. And then he's learning the new system too. So there's a lot of good conversations, and he's gonna be ready to go when he's ready to go. And I expect him to play at a really high level.
Does it matter that it's a new coach and a new GM and not the guy that drafted you and not the coach that coached you? Does that play a factor at all in it?
I think every situation is different. I do. I think, some situations are like that. Some may not be like that. I have no idea about that. And for me and him, our focus is on, look, I'm a holdover, right? My focus is on learning the job, going out there and executing at a really high level and putting our offense in position to make plays and move the football and score points. And honestly, that's really all I'm concerned about.
I don't know if you're an old school classic rock and roll kind of guy, but the Blue Oyster Cult that was playing when you guys wrapped up practice today.
Did you hear that?
This guy right here. He made a request to Jonathan Gannon when we had Gannon on a couple of days ago.
Let's go.
He took requests and he requested. So I don't know if that's your genre or not, but that's.
No, I'll mess with that for sure. I like classic rock. I grew up listening to 90s country, so every now and then he'll throw some old Kenny Chesney on or something.
Nice.
Nice. Kind of gets me going.
Did you go to the Morgan Wallen concert?
No, I didn't.
All right, I saw Hollywood and Trey there.
Yeah, I went to the George Strait, Chris Stapleton concert.
Okay. That's the one I would have wanted to go to.
That was fantastic.
Chris Stapleton is all of that, man. So good.
Chris Stapleton's amazing, and George Strait's the king of country. I mean,
he's
what
a legend.
What else do you want?
Yeah, he's a legend.
Leave me with this. Shake up in college football, the landscape. What's happening in the Pac-12? You're Texas and Oklahoma moving on. Now Oregon and Washington moving on. Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, Utah. There's just been so much change in college football. What's your thoughts on what's happening to it?
I think it's over. I think the NCAA is over. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 mega conferences kind of sanctioned on their own. And, the sanctity of college football, I hope, is still going to be there, right? All the traditions and the rivalries and all that. But once Texas decided to go to the SEC, I think that was the first domino to fall, and now it's all taking shape. I think in 2 years it's going to look just completely different to everybody.
Do you like it or not like it?
I just think that's where we're at. I think that's how it's going to be.
Accept it.
I personally love college football. I love watching college football. I love the games, the rivalries, the traditions. I just hope that throughout all this shakeup that we still have the sanctity of what college football
is.
The
sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Colt, always fun talking with you. Thanks for coming up here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Colt McCoy joining us here from Cardinals Training Camp.